So he started it all for me. He would be like, I beeped your mom last night. And I'm like, Dad, that's my mom. That's your wife. What do you mean? Wink, wink. But yeah,
Well, it
I
works
did use
because
it
you
for
did.
coding.
And what do you think about the current status quo? If you look at the actual legislation, it's so open-ended. Guys can have like 5 kilos up in their house, basically, and there's nothing anybody can kind of do about it. Which I was like, damn, son, that's flipping crazy. 3, 2, 1, go. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. And there's Carlo immediately pulling his app on my intro. I was trying to keep the swearing out of the first like 5 seconds because YouTube really appreciates that. But thank you, Carlo. Really do appreciate you. His interview will be later, which is why he's behaving like this, because he's jealous he wasn't first. And today on the Who Is podcast, we are going to answer the question, who is Layla Nells? Layla Nells, welcome to the podcast.
Hey, nice to meet you. Well, I already know you, mean rat.
Yeah, yeah, there is obviously some things that have happened behind the scenes, as we've described to our dearest Layla Nells. First question then out of the gate is that actually your real name?
No, it is actually not. I could give you the history of where that name came from as well if you'd like. But my real name is Tortoise.
Okay.
Completely different. Very different to what Layla is. But Layla came from, I used to be in the GTA RP scene. And Layla Nells built quite a reputation for herself around a lot of servers with that name. So I just decided to translate that name into my streamer name, as it was already well known. I
want to start off my commentary on this with just how proud I am of you that your nickname in gaming is not directly related to your actual name, because this is a thing that I think some of the streamers around South Africa have been very lazy with. So I'm very, very, very proud of you. Okay, just as a starting point. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in multiple places. So for up until I was 9, I grew up in Springs. Everyone else, that face. Everyone pulls that face whenever they think about that place. But after that, I moved on into Edenvale from about 9 till 17. Let's go. Edenvale's the place to be. Grew up there, loved it. And then for a year, my parents were like, let's go to like Hazy View, which is in but nowhere. Mpumalanga, and I was like, damn, can I go back to Edenvale? And then we moved back to Edenvale right after. Then back to Pretoria. I mean, not back to, then we moved to Pretoria, to a farm area, and I was like, farm life is not for me. Then moved back to city.
Damn, okay.
So here I am again. So a lot of moving.
So you've been around. Are you staying in Edenvale right now? Are you an Edenvale resident once again, or are you...
I was an Edenvale resident up until March, and then I moved in with Kylo to Randburg, here where we are now.
You just killed me. Because I love Edenvale so much. I've stayed as well in a couple places. I've moved around Joburg, but not like in Mpumalanga and stuff. What's it like moving across like provincial lines?
That's really different. Like, I know that South Africans as a whole have like a similar like way we speak with each other and like culture and whatever, but you can kind of tell the differences in terms of how things like a mixing pot, right? Like we're like, everyone's in here, everyone's doing their own thing. We kind of learned how to gel with each other and stuff like that. Then you go to Mpumalanga where everything is very much this or that. Like, this is how they do things here. Everyone knows that we do things like that. And you're just from Gauteng, you're a Gauteng city girl. You're like, what do you mean?
Big culture shock vibes, right?
Yeah, okay. It is a bit like you wouldn't expect it being the same country and it being like a 4-hour drive, maybe if at most. And you wouldn't be like, oh no, it's going to be completely different. But it is actually really, really different. In terms of a lot of things, even like in terms of education, I've noticed that it's a lot different what we get in Gauteng than what people get in Mpumalanga, for example.
Okay, and then with moving around as much as that, I mean, starting in Springs, I also wanted to ask, have you ever been down like one of those 4-kilometer mine shafts that are there? Because they actually like the longest ones in the whole world are actually found in Springs. A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah, my dad used to be a chemical engineer. well, when he was still alive, but
Okay.
he used to take
Ah,
me.
sorry.
Oh,
I
no
just hit.
worries, no worries.
I'm gonna cry in Lithuanian. Sorry.
No worries. But yeah, he used to take me with to his work because I was very much a daddy's girl. So then like he'd be like, "Oh, this is the whatever, whatever," and it's like, "You have to be careful. You have to wear the hat. You have to do all this." And then I'm like, "Yeah, that's cool. I'm going under the ground, bro. Like this is so exciting." And he's actually the one who got me into gaming. But yeah,
Okay.
that was my dad introduced me to a lot of things. So that was like, oh, okay, this is like the one cool thing about Springs. Everything else, I was like, ugh.
So we'll push aside primary school, but where did you go to high school? Tell me, Edenvale High. Make me a very happy man.
I'm sad. I'm so so sad.
You went to Eden Glen High.
No.
Not even. Where did you go to high school?
Okay. Buddy, I went to school 20 minutes away.
But for what?
I don't know. My parents
Wow.
really
Doesn't want to mingle with Scale from the Vale. You heard it here first
no
on the Who
no
Is
no
podcast. It's okay. It's okay. We're bad people apparently. So
no never.
wait,
You guys are my fave. You're my fave. I love
okay,
it. I
okay, it's
always tell
fine.
people,
Edenvale
Edenvale's
is the
where it's
best.
at.
Edenvale is the
Yeah,
best. It is,
it
if
really is.
especially if you find a nice little spot in a corner, like in a Dunvegan or in Eden Glen or something like that.
Mm,
Like
yeah,
it's really like chilled
it's really
living.
nice.
People are really, you know what I found, especially about Johannesburg in this particular environment, is your neighbors are actually invested in community.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like they don't want
yeah.
to be like detached from one another. They want to know like your
Oh,
basic
one
comings and
another.
goings and
Yeah,
stuff, and be interconnected. It's something that
yeah.
I've loved about the place. So where did you go to high school? Stop avoiding the question, Len.
So a lot of people know Ashton College. That's the high school my parents wanted to send me to.
Ashton College. Yes,
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 Ashton
quite. Ashton
College.
College. No.
Yeah. So I went to the rival school of Ashton College because my parents couldn't get into Ashton because it was late in the year and applications were blah 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 blah. So I went to Woodlands College. Also very yeah. But I was still pretty much like, dang, I wish I went to Ashton. But it was a really amazing school. I met so many amazing people there. And funny enough, a lot of people don't know this, but they also have they have sports, like all the normal sports that everyone has and whatever. But they started cheer the year I started, and I was like, yeah, I want to be a cheerleader. I got there, and they were throwing me into the sky because apparently I was the shortest and lightest, so I could be a flyer. And I was like, holy. I don't want to do this anymore because I do not trust four other girls to catch me because I'm scared. Okay, you throw me into the sky and then you want to catch me. I'm scared. But
Yeah,
I got used to
it's
it.
not the going up part that's
No.
problematic, right? It's the suddenly coming down, and then the earth is there, and that doesn't really move out of the way for you. I
Yeah.
completely understand. So that leads
Yeah.
me to the next question: how tall are you? If you're that small that you can just be easily thrown into the air like a baton, how tall is Layla Nells?
Okay, I'm 5 foot nothing, which in centimeters is 154 centimeters.
Actually, you're 4 centimeters taller than my mother. She's 150 centimeter on the dot.
Oh dang, let's go,
Yeah.
I'm taller.
Yeah. So you two probably need to meet up because it's been a long time since you were in the Shire together, is basically anybody anybody that's that tall is in Hobbit category. We say dwarves are like 160 up. So yeah.
Oh, doors are 160.
Yeah.
Oh dang.
As long as look, if you don't have hairy feet, it's not entirely true. Then you still pass as not being completely Hobbit. So
Luckily, no, I wax them every month.
okay. Do you get Carla to help with that?
Yeah, no. See, I try wax his. He says no. We wax mine though. It's like,
Okay, that's very hygienic of you. I'm sure your socks and your shoes also. Thank you. Um, from high school, you went to then go study in tertiary, correct?
no.
Not at all.
Actually, I did not. No, no.
Okay,
I went this. Yeah.
so you
Sorry.
self-taught. You're an
Yes.
autodidact, effectively.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you taught yourself. So after school, what did you want to go study? Did you decide not to ultimately? Did you try it and it sucked? What happened?
So my parents were more than willing to send me to uni, But I looked at the situation that they were in, and I was like, this is gonna be very stressful for them if I do go to uni, because like I'll need stationery, textbooks, whatever else that a student needs. They'll be paying fees, and they have 3 other kids they have to worry about as well. So I told them, listen, can you guys give me 1 gap year? If in that gap year I don't amount to something, then I will go to university and go down normal path and whatever, and I won't stress about you guys having to pay for stuff and blah blah blah. But I told them, give me 1 year, and if I don't do anything, then yeah, I'll go to uni.
Okay, so I'm assuming that because you haven't gone, something happened within that year. You also touched on something there that's interesting. You've got 3 other siblings?
I have 3 little brothers. Yeah,
3 little brothers.
yeah.
It's no
I'm the
wonder you're
only
so
girl.
good at putting up with Carlos. That's all I can. You've had serious experience. It's like,
Pretty much.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. How much younger are they than you?
One is 6 years younger than me. The other one is 14, and the other one's 15 years younger than me.
Oh, damn. So they're like much younger. Okay. So the
Yeah.
little ones are cute, right? They're always cute. They're little and that
Really?
kind of thing.
Oh no, they're horrible.
Oh, they
Very
are.
horrible. They're horrible. The 8-year-old told me when he started learning how to speak that I'm adopted, and if there was an ugly contest, I would win. And
Oh,
I was
wow.
just like, my
Brutal.
heart.
That's
So
brutal.
brutal. What's worse is I used to change his nappies. I used to take care of him. He was my baby, and then he comes up like, "Nah, you're ugly, bro." And I'm like, "Wow, siblings just don't change, do they?"
That is exceptionally brutal. But then, so going back to before I digressed, what did
Yeah.
you? So in that gap year, what did you like try and did you try and focus specifically on what you're doing now, or was it just causality of like availability?
Um, I started freelancing in code. Well, basically, this is how it went. Cambridge has like subjects you can pick for your IGCSE and A levels. So I picked computer science when I was 15. I started up in computer science. I found it very interesting, but I felt like the classes were very slow. So I went ahead and started learning on my own at that age. Then I started freelancing when I was 16. So just building like small little websites and whatever I could for like whoever would give me the time of day. Then by the time I was 18, I had like just the bare knowledge of like how to make the basic website and stuff like that. But I wanted to learn more, and I was like, I was going to study computer science in university, but I was like, okay, since I can't do that right now, let me see if I can go further in self teaching. So during that year, I gave myself 8 months of that year to strictly learn on, strictly focus on learning as well as doing like portfolio projects. So those like stupid little notepad apps or whatever the heck you could get your hands on. And I would just strictly be doing that the whole time. Then I fell into tech Twitter and tech LinkedIn, which is where you post like, oh, today's this, learned this, blah, 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 blah. It helped me grow a little bit of a following, which then when I started applying for jobs made it a lot easier for employees to kind of view me in a sense of, okay, she doesn't have experience, but I can kind of see her journey from when she started and when she is now, and I can see that she's learning these things, and so one employer did take the chance on me, and then things kind of snowballed from there. I kind of just wanted to be a perfectionist and prove myself to everyone, because there is the stigma that if you don't have a degree, you're not going to really do much. You're going to be redundant within whatever. So I made it a point, and then 4 years later, I'm a team lead now. So I was like, got you guys. Gonna
Team
get you
lead,
guys.
baby. Team lead.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dropping those position bombs. Next level.
Yeah.
Okay. No,
Yeah.
congratulations. That's so
Yeah.
awesome. It's funny because it's also in a certain way, that was like my sales career in distribution.
Yeah.
It was the same. Everybody had a
Yeah.
BCom and an MBA, and
Yeah.
I was just the experienced guy. And then next thing, I was national sales for ASUS, and it was like, okay, what now? What now?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Say what
Experience
now?
gang. Exactly.
Yeah.
We're out here. Exactly. Speaking
Exactly.
speaking of experience, how did you get then started with gaming?
Okay, gaming. I got bullied by my dad.
Good dad. Good dad. Bullying you into a
he
good habit.
he taught me that it's gonna be very toxic in the gaming world, so he started it all for me. He would be like, I, I beeped your mom last night, and I'm like, Dad, that's my mom. That's your wife. What do you mean? Mind you, I was like 6 at the time, or
Six.
7. Like,
That's a bit
seriously.
extreme on the preparatory stages.
No, this my dad was very much a like overachiever, so he wanted me to be the overachiever as well. Like he would get me on math. I was doing plus and minuses when I was 3, and I could barely speak, and I was like, I don't know what the I'm answering, but he said the answer's this, so I'm gonna do it. But that's pretty much my dad. He started me off early with everything. So we started like the first game he got me into. A lot of people will disapprove of this because this game is 18 for a reason. He got me onto 2 games. Red Dead Redemption, which not bad, I guess, not bad, not bad. Then GTA Vice City.
Now, you say GTA Vice City. I have finished GTA Vice City when I was in
Yeah,
high school, showing my age.
yeah.
Did you do the helicopter mission with or without assistance? That's the real question.
Hmm. That game took me 2 years to complete.
Okay, look, you were 6 though. I mean, you didn't exactly have the dexterity of an athlete or something like
Yeah,
that. You know what I mean? So no,
yeah, yeah,
that's actually fair dinkum. I would, yeah, there are certain missions like spreading pamphlets for adult
yeah,
actresses and stuff in that game
yeah,
that I probably wouldn't give to a 6-year-old. So
yeah.
we'll
Luckily,
say a little bit bad on that dad potting over that side. I think is
oh
a
yeah,
fair. You think that's a fair criticism to make? Okay, that's
yeah,
fine.
yeah, yeah. That is fair. That is fair. I mean, for the most part, if it's like a mission like that, he would like try his best to like make me go do something, finish it off quickly for me, and then yeah, after that I do my own thing. Where I can criticize him on is if I fail a mission, he goes, "You suck," and then I'm like, "I'm 6.
That's
The fuck are
amazing.
you?"
That's brutal. Jeez, like my dad was in military. I thought he was tough, but that's pretty next level. I'm not gonna lie.
No, yeah,
I feel your pain right now in very empathetic ways. Let's put it that way.
yeah.
But
I guess
okay, so
yeah,
did you start? That would have been on console, right? You were
yeah,
probably started on console because it's more social. It's easier to interact and
yeah.
stuff. When did you realize that PC is just that much better?
I would say that was 2019. I played on a friend's PC, and I was like, "Dang, this is amazing. I don't have to sit like on my couch and be like and like have like a selection of games and whatever. Like there's so much more you can do on PC and like games are a lot cheaper."
Modding, free multiplayer,
Yeah.
Steam.
Yeah, like there's so many amazing things and I was like I want a PC. So 2020 I was like I saved up and I got my PC and I was like awesome. That's great. And I could also use the excuse of, Mom, Dad, I want to learn coding. So please provide me a PC so I can learn how to code. Wink, wink. Um, but yeah,
Well, it
I did
works
use it
because you
for
did.
coding.
No, but you did.
Yeah,
That's the thing.
yeah,
Like, I always, my parents would, I think, rightfully have
yeah,
concern about the amount of time you'd spend playing games and stuff, and they'd see it as a waste of time. And then, obviously,
yeah.
my career became, as a sales and marketing person for gaming now for the better part of like 11 and a half years. And I'm like, yeah, what now? Now all of that time was wasted.
Yeah,
No, exactly.
exactly.
So,
Yeah,
although I would say that was more blessings from the Lord than my hand
yeah,
in it, to be very honest
yeah,
with you. So okay, so 2020, you get your first PC, you're starting out with coding and you're reselling your products and stuff like that. How long have you been full-time, team lead kind of programmer? How long have you been doing that?
I have been team lead for the past 2 years.
Okay, that's okay. And how old are you now? You're young
I'm
enough that
23.
the thing is, you're young enough that if I ask you, it's not going to be offensive, which is kind of nice to be in my, because
Yeah,
I'm really old. So
yeah.
that's I think a big plus of being in my position. If you're
Big.
23, I'll be 36 in August. That means 13. I'm trying to relate to when you were born and what I was
Yeah.
doing, and that was hilariously the year I got my first own like gaming
Oh,
PC was at 13 years old. My dad bought the case and the power supply and the
yeah.
motherboard and the processor, but he would always make me save up and buy the graphics card myself so that I would
Uh,
learn the value of
yeah,
saving and stuff, which I think
yeah.
was at the time I was like, just buy me the nice graphics card, Dad. And then later you're like, oh no, wait, that was actually
Okay.
a really
Yeah.
good life lesson. Okay.
Yeah.
So then we carry on forward to you then obviously became friends with people through gaming and stuff. How did you and Kylo like meet up?
Um, Kylo and I met in GTA RP. I met him through a friend of mine, who was like, "Oh, we're gonna go do paintball," which is essentially just like going to do paintball in the game. In the game for
Okay.
RP, you just shoot each other in like a practice range, and it's like kind of phone like a friend, and they can come over, and I was like, "Sure, I guess." And then he came, and I thought, "What a dickhead!" Uh, That was my first assumption of this guy. I was like, what a dick. But he was actually really, really, really nice. And I was like, damn, I feel bad for thinking you were a dick. He's just like he's very confident in himself and assertive. So I was like, he's one of those. But he's just confident, but he's really, really nice. So that's kind of how I met him. And then we kind of became friends. And I met Slimy through GTA RP as well, through Kylo. And then I was like, Kylo, Slimy. And
Brutal.
that's kind of yeah, he knows it's okay.
He knows.
Um,
If he
so
doesn't, he's
that's
gonna find out when this comes out.
basically, but yeah, then I met those two, and I thought, wow, what amazing people. And then that's when I found out that they stream, and I was like, ew, streamers. But funny enough, I started streaming on TikTok at the time, and then they told me to do the switch over to Twitch, and I was like,
Okay, okay. And then
oh.
how long have you been streaming on Twitch now?
Since last year, September, October, November,
Oh,
December,
damn, very.
January, February, March, April, May.
I think
My month now.
because, yeah, I think because you guys are mates, it felt like I've watched you a lot longer because it was probably like day one that I pulled into the stream because you would have been in their
Yeah,
chats and stuff. I actually can't
yeah.
remember. I actually can't remember the point at. I think it was on your stream was the first time that I actually stayed for more than oh hey, look, streamer South Africa, here's a follow, and then I dip like into the lurk
Yeah,
zone, as I tend to do,
yeah,
as I know you are aware,
yeah.
I'm checking in between bits of content and
'Cause
stuff.
yeah.
But that's crazy, only 9 months, okay. And in the last like 9 months, what would you say has been your like best and worst experiences of engaging with streaming and with ZA gaming community?
I think that I have met a lot of amazing people in this community. To the point where it doesn't just like it's not just fully gaming, it leaks up into your personal. That's also something people should realize. Like if you're gonna be gaming with people and like allowing them into your spaces in Discord and whatever, you are allowing them into your like personal life in a sense. But the people I've let into my personal life so far from gaming have been nothing but like amazing, have helped me through like the toughest times of my life as well. And I would say like one thing from the South African gaming space that I have personally for me that has like been like a really huge nice like pro is how I know it's very like not a common opinion, but how helpful people can be, especially in new games. So like I will be Valorant I started when I streamed. Valorant is one of those games I cannot for the life of me fucking improve in. Well, I have improved, but when I started, I didn't know what I was doing. I couldn't, for the life of me, figure out what was going on. Obviously, the people in game are yelling at you and calling you cuss words, but then the streaming community, then you have someone like OG Rafts or Kylo or Slimy or anyone being like, hey, I could just give you a pointer, or hey, come play with me and I'll teach you like what you can and can't do and like how you can improve on this and that. And they'll tell me every day, just practice this, this, that. And they would help me along the way. I mean, there was a point in time last year I got invited into all these Valorant tournaments with all these diamonds and plats, and I'm here with my little iron buddy, and I'm like, hi, I'm iron, you guys are gonna shoot me. And the way everyone celebrated as soon as I got one kill in that whole tournament, and I'm like, guys, people have been getting better kills. Like, it's not that serious. But
But that's amazing. That's kind of that's awesome as well as
yeah,
when you come in as a complete Like so you never played Counter-Strike or any other tactical shooter before Valorant. That was your first tactical shooter.
I played CS:GO, but CS:GO is completely different to Valorant because you can ADS all the time in CS:GO. That is how you're supposed to play, right? In Valorant, okay, not per se, not per se. Okay, I'm sorry. COD and CS:GO, you know, you all the time, like you switch into your like little zoom in little gun, whatever the fuck it is. Okay, I didn't say I was good at first person shooter games. I'm horrible at them. There's
It's
a
amazing.
reason.
I don't even have to say anything. I just give you a look, and you just immediately on the back foot. I might abuse that as we go through this interview, but carrying on.
Yeah, but like I am horrible. Anyone will tell you I am absolutely horrible at most like games. Um, much to my father's dismay, I'm sure. Like he's looking down at me like, bro, I trained you. But yeah, no, I just like I used to like constantly like in Valor like go like ADS, and they're like, why are you ADSing? And I'm like, because you're supposed to ADS to shoot. But like you can shoot without ADSing, and I was like, ah. But
Whole
how are you
new
supposed to see?
world.
Yeah, basically. I was like, dang, wow, I don't have to do that. Like,
Do you know what's
yeah.
funny with Valo is, I would say specifically in your defense, is that every gun has like a weird like little zoom in sight
Mhm.
effect that it's like, that was so weird for me. It's like, oh, the Vandals, the AK, just use that. And I'm like, okay. So coming from, you know, a huge Counter-Strike background, I started playing at 13 on my own computer
Yeah.
kind of vibe. That's 23 years if you're counting. And yes, I'm still bad.
Yeah.
But that's because you never really get good at Counter-Strike unless your name is like Doru. And then for the rest of us, you just get less bad, which is like it's kind of a nice. It's like a little bit
Mhm.
uplifting as well. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I would you say Valo is your favorite game?
Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. But to be fair, I came from playing League of Legends for fun. So, you know, I'm just
No, it's
like a
fine. It's fine.
riot.
Even League of Legends is better than Valorant. Okay, Valorant pissed me off so bad with that cocoon dude because you can just win the 1v1. You don't even have to aim. You can just I clicked a button. Look, I'm professional. Like that's actual tactical shooter. Hello, and and the other one was the chick that makes the doggo, and then the doggo
Yeah.
hits you, and you to get your gun. That happened
Yeah.
to me. I literally alt F4'd and uninstalled the game. That's how I literally played Valo
I
for
know,
the last
yeah.
time. And I was just like,
Yeah.
I'm not doing this. And Enrico's been desperately trying to get me into the title, and I just can't. It's so weird and foreign. And I'm like, I just want to be able to throw a flashbang on every character. Why is that a huge ask? I just want a
Mhm.
side execute not to look like rainbow vomit from a unicorn's ass. Is that so much to ask for? Like, Valo,
Like, why am I being dizzied? And why am I seeing green goo on my screen? Why am I seeing, like, why are all these things happening all at once?
just doesn't
Like,
make
what's
any
happening?
sense. Where was this? It's supposed to be a tactical shooter related somewhat to reality. And I'm like, dude, this is just Overwatch with more rainbow vomit. Like, that's basically what I'm looking at. And yes, you may have the gun mechanics from CS, and that's where the comparison ends.
Yeah.
I also find the movement of the Counter-Strike really clunky. I don't know if you felt that as
Yeah.
well. It feels like I'm wading through like a thick soup or something. Every time my dude walks, feels like he's got Goku's like 40-kilogram weights attached to his flippin' ankles. It's like, dude, can you just
Yeah.
walk down the flippin' road? But yeah. No,
Yeah.
okay. This isn't the Valo hate uh,
No.
podcast. That will happen later. So what is your favorite game?
My favorite. I don't really quite have a favorite game. I have a favorite game of a very specific amount of time, then it switches on to something else. Currently, it's Elden Ring.
Okay,
I
that's a
hate
fair.
myself right now.
Yeah. The pain,
Yeah.
one of the pain simulators. I feel you as a
Yes.
Tarkov
Yes. Yes.
main for until recently.
Yeah.
I feel you. Don't worry. What would you say is the best game, the best like game of all time? Even if it's something that you don't play, what would you say
Yeah.
is the best game of all time?
I'm not gonna lie to you. I know this one just came out recently and like blah blah blah, but Split Fiction was actually done really well. Like really, really well. I know they won like Game of the Year, that game agency won Game of the Year for It Takes Two, I think. But Split Fiction came out. I wasn't like too keen on it. I was like, it's probably just gonna be like some money grab, like as per games have been recently, where like it's not really the
So
most
bad.
enjoyable.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I figured it's gonna be something similar to that. Then my friend was like, "Let's get it." I was like, "Okay, but I can't promise that I'm gonna finish that game." And luckily, only one person has to buy it, and then you get a friend's pass, and then you can both play. So I
Oh,
was
that's
like, as
cool.
long as I don't have to buy it, yeah, that's also like another thing I kind of liked about it. I'm like, okay, maybe not so money grabby.
Mm.
I can like that. Then I first 30 minutes on stream, I played it on stream with my friend, and the first 30 minutes of that game, I was hooked. I was like, what the actual this game is good and it's not killing my PC. Like it's good and I can see amazing graphics without it killing my PC.
Mm.
So I was like, wow. And the thing is, it's not always about graphics because a lot of games nowadays focus on that especially. But the storyline was just as good. It kept me captivated the whole time. I was like interested in playing and continuing and seeing what happens. And it got to the point where my chat was making their own headcanon, like, which is, I'm assuming you know what headcanon is, right?
Refresh me.
Okay, so headcanon is basically like making lore, but like it's not like accurate lore that comes from the game has been confirmed. It's more lore based on like public opinion or whoever
Ah,
else's, yeah, like, oh,
I
you
know
know,
this. I know this. Yes.
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 Yeah, there we go. So they started making their own headcanon saying, oh, this character's gonna be with this character. They are just fighting because they all liked each other, kind of thing. And I was like, oh my god, please guys, chill. But they would get so excited while we're playing this game, and like everyone's just having the most absolute fun time. And I was genuinely, because at that point I also like had like the slump when it came to gaming. I was like, I'm not really enjoying so many of the games I'm streaming anymore, because that's also something I enjoy. I don't like streaming what's popular. I like streaming what I like because
Mm.
I feel like my personality is kind of what you're there for. I'm horrible at gaming. No one comes to my stream to watch me
Football
game.
gaming skills.
No, no one comes to my stream for game skills, right? They come here to chat with me and have fun with me and look at me f up or whatever. And I want games where I'm happy to f up in. And so this was one of those games where it brought back that like I would say that spark in streaming for me again. And I was like, you know what? This is a good game. This is a really good game. We would stay up because I stopped streaming. I used to stream up until like the devil hours, which is like 2, 3 a.m. in the morning. But
Proper
I stopped
DJing.
that.
Proper DJing streaming. Okay, I got you.
Exactly.
But
But
it's
I
kind of,
stopped.
but that's
Yeah.
also kind of cool because it's kind of also like you're having like an online LAN with your friends
Yeah.
and they're just in the chat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's,
Yeah.
there's a part of me that has a lot of fun memories from doing that. The extreme of it was we used to go to Liberty Land on a Friday where there's about 450 PCs set up
Yeah.
for the LAN. This is
Yeah.
pre-internet era. I think the base internet for a lot of this time was like a 512 kilobyte ADSL line. That was about the best you could possibly hope for. So doing downloads, like if you wanted like to download a game or a movie or even legally
Yeah.
on Steam or something, it was like 27 years later kind of vibe. And if at
Yeah.
any point the very reliable telecom copper dropped, that was your download gone and you had to start again. So landing was very popular in that kind of
Yeah.
era. We used to go on Friday and I wouldn't sleep until Sunday and drive us
Yeah.
home in the afternoon on Sunday kind of thing. And that was like the extremes of it.
Yeah.
But then I got older and the one day I was driving and I started catching fish like behind the wheel of the
Yeah.
car kind of thing. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
never again. This is way too extreme sort of level and stuff.
Oh,
But yeah, no, that's it. DJ hours and stuff aside, I think that's a very healthy self-assessment. Let me put it like
yeah.
that. Rather than trying to be something you're not, focus into your
Yeah.
strengths and kind of bring
Yeah.
that forward. So, what is your personal like favorite peripheral or PC part that you own, and what's the one thing you really want to be able to upgrade in the near future?
My whole PC I want to upgrade. My favorite thing that I've gotten recently is this because I stole it from Kyle.
Oh, okay. That's a licensed Xbox controller, Series S
Yep.
one, right?
I assume so, yes. I
Okay.
know nothing about it, but it's so good. It is so good compared to the one I had before.
Shame.
Because it used to that one just used to stop responding and do its own freaking and like the buttons. And I was like, with this one, I was like, I'm not hopeful. I'm really not hopeful. After what I've gone through with like controllers, I'm just not hopeful. And then I was like, oh, it feels nice. And then I started playing and I'm like, oh my god, this is
It
amazing.
actually works. My
It
inputs are
works.
registering.
Literally, I was
Shame.
like, I freaked out so bad because I was playing FIFA with my friends and I was like, oh my god, I can kick the ball on time. And it was like amazing. It was the whole celebration. They didn't get it. They were like, what the f are you going off on? And I was like, don't worry about it. But yeah.
Yeah, so having been in, like I said, in the distributor that used to resell the products, and then
Yeah.
working as a tech reviewer and a streamer for the last like nearly 7 years, I may have
Yeah.
been a little bit spoiled. So when you talk about that sort of stuff, I have to like, get this long, far away look in my eye from when I was like probably. I think the last time I had an actually like objectively slow PC was probably actually
Yeah.
my first computer ever, where the graphics card was like
Yeah.
the bare minimum and I could just play the games, like just play
Yeah.
the games kind of thing. What is your CPU and GPU combo you've got right now?
See this? I need a Kyle,
Call in tech support.
what's my CPU? Yeah, I sent it to you, bro. He's
This
like,
is
I
dev
don't
people
know.
in a nutshell. I just want everybody, as we kind of pause here while Layla pulls it up, this is a typical developer move where they have no idea what they're coding on as long as there's 32 gig of RAM. That's their only goal in life.
Yeah, as long as it works, I don't care what it does. I mean, the rest of it. Where do I find this? Where do I find this?
Just use
Here.
Task Manager.
Oh, I could use Task Manager.
Yeah, it's built into Windows.
Oh, my GPU is a okay. I have a Ryzen 5 1600 as a CPU, which yeah, no, I know. I've been cucked out by everyone about it. It's old, okay? It's old. It's
There's
old PC.
That's 7 years old. Okay, I've owned every generation of Ryzen except for 7 and 9000 series.
Oh,
So I have two full Ryzen 5000 series rigs, but anyway.
yeah.
And your GPU?
How do I pronounce a Radeon?
Radeon,
Radeon RX 500?
RX 580, probably 8 gig. It should be maybe at the bottom of the GPU thing or on the top right. It should give you the full model number if you're in Task Manager. But if it's an RX 500 series, it's probably a 588 gig because this now
XT at the end.
does it have XT then?
Yeah.
Is it a 5600 XT?
I think so.
Okay, so your GPU is actually not terrible. It's actually quite, like, it's still usable. I had one of those on the test bench. It's actually not like the worst ever. But that CPU, it actually deserves an award for carrying on. That is incredible. And then you game and stream off same PC, off of that PC. That is quite
nothing
astonishing.
has blown up.
I'm surprised it plays games and streams at the same time, to be very honest with you.
Most people have that reaction whenever I tell them my specs. They go, how are you streaming, much less gaming?
Yeah, no,
and I'm like,
that's kind of incredible. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
My baby PC, my babyest rig is it'll all be gibberish to you, but it's like the new version of your graphics card with 5900X, which is a 12 core 5000 series. It was the best gaming CPU when it came out. So yeah, like I said, spoiled. Okay.
I get you.
The smallest Ryzen I've owned was an 1800X, and that was the first gen top boss of that generation. Hashtag, yeah.
Dang,
But what's nice is you can actually upgrade your CPU with your existing motherboard. Do you know that, right? Okay, cool.
I've been told to upgrade.
Yeah, when you get to it, call your boy. We'll help you spend your money accurately based on what you've got installed in your PC. Because I was also raised, my best friend from high school is Chinese, but like his parents were direct from Guangzhou. Like they don't speak English, like at all, kind of thing. And if we went to buy something and there wasn't a sale, the way we would get cucked out was kind of epic in a way as well. They taught me how to be frugal and also how to spend money properly, because they
Yeah.
wouldn't shy away. Like when Samsung did a nice 27-inch monitor and it was a
Yeah.
really good deal, they'll go and buy it because it's a
Yeah.
Samsung, it's going to last and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And we ended up using that monitor for 12 years. So it's you know, a goedkoop is dierkoop, but also
Yeah.
no sale. You don't go buy without the sale. No question. Like it's just not even
Yeah.
it's not even
You
up
wait
for
for the
debate.
sale.
Oh yeah. No,
Yeah.
you but what's nice is I think with the current climate is there's a lot of really good cheap secondhand componentry that we can actually get
Mm.
inside of your machine, which will be a huge uplift that goes along with it. And then you use that as a development platform as well. I'm assuming you're using it for your coding. What do you code in mostly? What is your main? Just to finish off that subject.
I wish I could tell you, Lamine. I work for an agency, so it's based on a client. But so far, I can tell you this week I have worked. Okay, this week has just started, but last week, PHP and Java, just PHP and Java.
Okay, so it's mostly stuff for online website development, backends.
App development as well. But we use Flutter, which is for iOS development. I'm not into Colton, Coit, know how to pronounce it, but that's the Samsung version of it. I don't like it. So I always tell people, I'll just do the iOS side. You guys figure out the rest. And yeah.
Look,
I might be a little biased. I might be a little biased.
I will say for as a working tool, Apple is easily the best, especially when it comes to Mac, like with Adobe. Like I said, I have Beast PC. The things Adobe does to my computer, if I render, I cannot stream. I have to restart because it destroys the NVIDIA drivers. It just takes them and like, I don't know what it does, but they just don't work afterwards. And you're just like, bro, I don't know actually what happened over here. Okay, so you've done all of this gaming development. You've been working in the industry. You're a nerd. Okay, let's call it what it is. The glasses aren't just for show. They are.
Yeah, they're real.
They're real. They're adding to the. How blind are you? What's your blindness factor?
I forgot what my actual prescription is, but all my friends wear glasses. All the streamers they probably wear glasses. They tried on my glasses, even in Cape Town, and they were like, Layla, what the fuck? Why did my eyes hurt? And I was like, it's not that bad, guys. They're like, I can't see anything. Like, why are you so blind? And I was like,
okay,
seems pretty normal.
So you're short, you're blind, you're bad at games. These are things we've established over here. What do you think is the most destructive general behavior that you see in gaming and streaming, even from your experience? I mean, obviously you haven't been around 20 years like me, but from your perspective, I'm very curious about this because you're effectively a newcomer in certain terms. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What is your opinion on that?
I will not lie to you. This, like, as amazing as the community is, it's very toxic. It's very cliquey. It's very like, if you're not good, stay away from us, kind of thing. You know, like in the gaming in the gaming sense, it's like if you're not a good gamer, we don't want to hang with you. Kind of vibe. It's very toxic in the sense of if you're in a game, even if you're doing well, you'll have people shitting on you just because someone's having a horrible day. So like, I feel like there's a lot of toxicity in gaming, especially in games like very competitive games, basically.
Yeah.
Rivals. I've had my fair share of toxicity. It's why I uninstalled. I had a Rivals tourney that I wanted to do myself. I had a lineup. I had everything. The day it was supposed to go up, there was like load shedding, so we didn't do it. But I was supposed to reschedule, and I did reschedule. But there was some people who weren't going to make it. Blah blah blah. And I was like, okay, I could always like just figure out where, how, whatever. I can figure out new people. Then I carried on playing the game, and the toxicity in that game made me hate the game to the point where I didn't even want to do the tourney anymore because people were just so. I mean, it doesn't help. I stream as well, so not only do a lot of people know that I'm a girl, but a lot of people know that I'm black. So they come here, they come with racism, they come with sexism, they come with like there's just a lot of like toxicity around it. And I was like, I hate most games now. I don't want to play them because you'll find people just being complete because they think they know who you are and blah blah blah. So that is one that I feel, and some I wouldn't say streamers try their best to try not show it to chat, but we struggle with it quite often. Where like I've seen Slimy and Kylo struggle with this where they're playing Valor and they have people stream sniping them like 5 games in a row, and it like they might try stay as motivated as possible and try to like show face and be like, yeah, no, it's okay, guys, we're gonna keep going. But it's demotivating, you know, like it's just it's you can't keep up with that no matter, even if you trying. They try have like scenes where they hide when they're queuing, but at the same time people always know where they are. And Scar even has the same problem as well. That's why he also has a queue sniping screen. So there's this like there's a winning mentality in the gaming community, which is a byproduct of that toxicity. And I feel like the South African community has it so bad, so freaking bad. Even in GTA RP, that's why I stopped being in GTA RP. That was like where I grew my whole reputation. That's where I came from. That's where Layla Nells came from. But I stopped it because of the same reason, which is the winning mentality and toxicity. So it's kind of.
And how do you win at RP? Explain that to me. It's a personality based game. How do you win at something that's supposed to be about roleplay? Like,
People don't roleplay anymore. People want to act like the biggest dude on the road and be like, I have guns. I'm just going to shoot everyone because I'm the toughest guy. Because at home, I'm not really the toughest guy. I just stay here all day, blah, blah, blah. But it's just people just try to be the richest. They treat women like shit in some servers because they're like, I have money. I have all these virtual cars. Keyword virtual cars. I have these virtual houses. I can get any girl I want. You are honored to be speaking to me, kind of mentality. And you're like,
is this real life or is this fantasy? Like, that's that. I blame Andrew Tate for all of that. Just
yeah.
in a nutshell, it's
Yeah.
and he stole my beard, which I'm extra pissed off about because I did it first, okay, and then he comes later. He used to have this no beard going on with it, you know, a bit of a collapsed chin. I'm not gonna flame like that bad, but it's his fault. He was the one that he really took that red pill sort of community like to the nth degree. He took it way too far. And I think a lot of the flack he's getting is deserved. Just kind of, it's fair feedback based on the things you've said and done, mate. If I'm being very honest, but
1000%.
So, is that are you saying that would influence you if it wasn't virtual? Because that seemed to be the condition of the money in the cars. Or is that not your vibe? You don't get down. No. You're not an Andrew Tate.
If it was real, if it was real, I would laugh at you even more. But because it's fake, I'm like, oh shame. It's okay.
Oh, okay, yeah. You understand the sense of ego damage that it's taken for the homie to end up like that, where he's worried about my pixels are better than your pixels. Like, it is very effectively. Look, I say that, and I will put a pinch of salt in there for me with regards to Tarkov, because in my first like 2,000 hours, I was very serious. I was that intolerant professional that you've experienced while playing like a Valorant and stuff to the nth degree, because it was this burgeoning, emerging sort of like opportunity for streaming and stuff. And I didn't actually have fiber for like a lot of that period. So I couldn't stream. And then when I got the time to stream, I was kind of like, dude, I'm so tired. I do 5 pieces of content a week. Like, I'm actually, and you know what's, I think the hardest thing, and I think it's a really good thing that you've done with your stream, is not creating a character that you have to put on when you go on screen. It's just, I'm just Layla Nells chilling, playing a game. You know, I think that was a better approach than what I went for ultimately. To tell you the truth. And then like Krim would always be streaming, and Kylo and these kinds of guys in and around the the Tarkov community, and especially with Latches, we played like a ton, especially
Yeah.
on Singapore and stuff, and really went into the kind of meat grinder of it. So the Q sniping, you have no idea how much I can resonate with you on that one.
Yeah.
It's but yeah, it's shame. Oaks need that to go to their friends to show them, hey, look at me,
Yeah.
I did a thing for this
Yeah.
dopamine spike that I didn't really kind of earn. So
Mhm.
so leading from that idea into the next question is, what do you think, having grown up in South Africa, what do you think about things like identity politics as we find ourselves in the new South Africa? What the roles that these things sort of play, in our day-to-day lives, and especially attaching that to the gaming community. What is your opinion on the usage of it, the pitfalls of it, just as a practice that you find something that you've been verbally assaulted
Yeah.
by that sort of thing. What is your hope that we arrive at, like as a community and stuff? And what do you think about the current status quo, if you have an opinion about the political landscape and how it's used
Yeah.
there?
Um, I always say that South Africans are truly South Africans when sports are around. And that's when you'll see South Africans united in a way that is, you would virtually not think about it. You would think just the other day they were like throwing racial slurs at each other. Now today they're having a beer together. And it's very beautiful. Like I always say to people that it's really, really beautiful when sports come around in South Africa and we all unite and all have like a yay, rah, let's go, South Africans. We're all South Africans. No one goes, oh, blah, 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 blah. I'm this, I'm that. Like, no one really cares at that point. And I always say that the government really never stands with that. They never really care for that time. And for me, it gives me hope that, you know what, at the end of the day, they are good people. And maybe once we get past all these stigmas and all these things, because most people grow up being told these things, so maybe like one day when you like unlearn, maybe you'll stop calling people names over Valo. Maybe one day you'll mature and be like, okay, I can just call this person stupid instead of calling them a racial slur or anything of the kind, or like their sexuality, because I know a lot of people say you're gay when like they upset with you, and I'm like, cool, I am. I'm not, but it's just they don't know what to
But
say
right now it's
after
fine.
that.
Yeah. It's,
Yeah, they
so
don't know what
what?
to say.
So
Yeah,
what?
I was
So
like,
what
so
if I am?
what?
Kind of
Now
vibe.
I'm gonna go kiss your mom. What are you gonna do about that? But yeah, anyway. Um, so I feel like in the essay, it's just people like hurting each other in gaming, and they know that in South Africa we have a very sensitive spot, which is what we've been through because of our past, and that is the easiest spot to trigger any person, any gamer in South African community. Because even um last time I was playing with Eviction and someone called me the K word, and he lost his handles. I was like, is that a new word you just learned recently? And I was just like giving him like the bare minimum of the response. But he was pretty happy with the response he was getting from Eviction, which was that anger, that like, oh, you think you're tough, like that kind of fight. Like that's kind of what a lot of these people are looking for when they go saying very hurtful things that they know is hurtful because of we're in South Africa and that kind of stuff. And it's sometimes it gets a little tense. So they hit the pinpoints of pain because that's just what they want. They want
Mm.
that. They want to get a reaction out of you, and if you don't give them that reaction, they don't know what to do with themselves. I kind of piss off my mods in the sense of when someone comes into my chat with racism, I make them feel stupid. I am the type who's like, you wanted attention, I'll give you the attention you're not looking for. And then they kind of get upset, they kind of don't know what to do, and then they kind of wade off by themselves. My mods are like, we should ban him, we should all be mad. And I'm like, guys, chill, it's okay. Like, I feel like we're very quick to react to things with anger when it comes to any of that kind of stuff. Like if someone shouts to me, um, in whatever, like if we're discussing, I feel like a lot of people are very scared to have discussions about politics because we feel like we might step on toes, and I feel like that's what we need sometimes. Because like if I'm talking, I've spoken with like Kylo, Slimy, we've had all those kinds of conversation about politics, and we have mature conversations about politics. Like I will say, like I've always told them that like majority of our population is not the most educated for these and these reasons. This is why like the leading party that is there right now continues to thrive on that and blah 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 blah. And I have these conversations with them, and I feel like a lot of people shy away from having mature conversations about things in order to not like step on someone's toes or be cancelled or something along those lines. And I feel like fear of saying the wrong thing is what's stopping the South African community from growing. And from like without having the conversations that make us uncomfortable, we'll never get to the place where we want to be, where like we can deal with the rage baiters, you know, because we're scared of like, I mean, what I think there was like there's so many clips, like you can go to my stream, you'll find so many clips of me saying something that should get me cancelled, in a sense of it's not really something like I am like very much like ally everything, like I'm that kind of girl, but I would say something like, oh, I feel like bombing this place, but that's because it's a game. And I'll be like, I feel like a terrorist or something along those lines, and people are like, Layla, you can't say that, what, oh my god, people are gonna, and I'm just there like,
Counter-Strike is literally terrorists versus counter-terrorists. It's in the name. Like
it's literally yeah, but we're becoming so sensitive. Like everything is becoming such a sensitive spot. Like everyone's like, you can't speak of this, you can't speak of that, you can't, like it's just becoming so just like for me it's like we're becoming very sensitive to things we shouldn't be sensitive to. Like there are certain things that we should be sensitive to, yes, but making everything else just as sensitive now makes these things like feel like no one should care about it, because now everyone's being used to being called a washing machine. Well, there's more derogatory terms for that, but like they're used to being called that because we don't talk about those conversations, but we can't say terrorist or any other word because that one's taboo. I'll get cancelled, but now people can call you other words because yeah. So I feel like we need to be able to have mature conversations in the gaming community. And that will be very uncomfortable. It will be incredibly uncomfortable. I came into the space and like I always, most of the gamers I hang out with and streamers, they're mostly white people, and I make it very clear that I'm black. I will be like, oh yeah, same. I'm black. You guys, I don't relate to something you just said because I'm black. Or I'll say this is my experience. Like I don't always point it out and be like I'm black, but like I don't also like try to like be hush hush about things. I don't like people when they hush hush or make themselves smaller in order to fit in. And I feel like that's what a lot of the gaming community did. And that's why now there's like a lot of mental, like people need to take mental breaks and like having like issues and whatever, because they're trying to fit into a mold that they aren't, because they felt that that's the only way they could fit in. Whereas I'm like, just make space for yourself, rock in there, show everyone that this is me. You will take me as this. You will. I identify as that if I wanna. I feel this way about a certain topic, and that's you can't like you can't tell me otherwise. I feel like that's okay. Like I'm not saying be a dictator about your personality or just like don't just be an asshole and never let anyone tell you otherwise. I'm just saying that you do not have to change who you are in order to fit into a space. You don't have to like hide a part of your identity or whatever you believe in just because of trying to fit into a space. I mean, Gigi, one of my friends, she wears a hijab, and people make fun of the fact that she wears a hijab, like in like whatever, and like tell her otherwise and blah blah blah. And I'm like, and she doesn't care. Gigi will Gigi. Gigi's terrifying. I love her. I love her to bits and pieces. But Gigi's confidence is up there, and she will tell you that we will fight. You want to go outside? I will fight you. So that's what I love about her. She will never let anyone. She is authentically herself through and through, and no one will tell her otherwise. And I respect that from her. I really, really do. And I feel like a lot of the gaming community needs that. Being authentic to yourself, then maybe you won't be such a to everyone else for being themselves, you know?
So there's a conjoined idea I'm just kind of mulling over as I'm busy
Yeah.
listening to you, and I think you'll agree with it, is the problem seems to be twofold, in that we don't want to take out the hard conversations from under the carpet. We're just kind of
Yeah.
happy to leave them to fester, but by doing
Hmm.
so, they actually get a lot worse. It's like leaving
Hmm.
rotting food in your fridge and being like, oh,
Hmm.
it's fine. If it grows
It'll get
another
better.
piece of mushroom fungus on it, it's okay. I'll throw it out later,
Yeah.
kind of thing. And then when we finally do get to it, we kind of look at it and go, oh, now I've got to deal with all of this that kind of
Yeah.
sprouted around the problem. And
Yeah.
I think the problem is it's intertwined with what I've experienced is people attribute their identity to their, or they at least their worth to their ideological standpoint. So they
Hmm.
say, because of my belief or my ideology, that defines my worth. And so when someone challenges that ideology, they automatically take it as, you're undervaluing me.
Attacking. Yeah. Or, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's the basically the idea. And the reality is, when we are into fighting with each other, the guys that want to do fraud and corruption and all the horrible things can get away with murder in the background because we're too
Hmm.
busy fighting each other
Each
to pay
other.
attention to what the other guys are
That's
doing.
why I say, why do you think they never say anything when in sports and we're all together? Because they need a common, they need to get everyone to have a common enemy, which is each other instead of them. So that's kind of what they thrive on. And like I said, nothing's going to change until we start having the hard conversations. And if we never have those, nothing changes.
Don't you think that's why they legalized Zol, to keep people sedated? Just go sit in your corner, have a doob,
And
have a
yeah,
chill
be
out.
happy with that. We told you not to Zol for a year. We're giving you everything now.
Yeah,
Go have
all
fun.
of it. You can have 12 plants on your property. It's like the actual, if you look at the actual legislation, it's so open-ended. Guys can have like 5 kilos up in their house, basically, and there's nothing anybody can kind of do about it. Which I was like,
Exactly.
damn, son, that's flipping crazy. Like, who needs
Exactly.
that mountain? It's like, who's coming to visit? Where's Khalifa? Like, what? Like, what's going on?
Exactly. Zol, what I say is Zol to middle class and upper class is what rice and those t-shirts they give the lower class is.
Yes, that is actually such a good way of putting that. I'm stealing that, and I'm going to use that later. Thank you very much.
It
No,
works.
so okay, as a closing sort of thought, then,
Hmm.
what would you what would you like to contribute to the gaming community, and what would you like to see change in amongst the gaming community, like on a macro scale, like something big
Yeah.
that you would like, an event or something to create a unity in amongst the people? Because something you said that it and it's real, and it makes me sad, really sad, was when I started in gaming, before like DGL really established itself, there was
Yeah.
a lot of just, oh, hey, you play the game, I also play the game, that's awesome, let's
Yeah.
play the game together, come, we're going to the LAN. Like, oh, it
Yeah.
doesn't matter if you suck, we'll just randomize the teams so that the skills are all
Yeah.
over the place, and we don't have teams overly stacked with good guys and bad guys. It was just to have fun. That was the
Mm.
entire point of the sort of
Yeah.
exercise. So with that sort of in mind and stuff, what would you what are your, okay, let's start first. Let me do this one at a time. What are your goals for Layla Nells? What would you love to
Yeah.
accomplish with your streaming career?
Um, I would say I'm accomplishing it already in a sense of I'm just there to be that streamer who, after a long day of work, and after I have a long day of work, we sit, we hang out, we have laughs. You forget about like I had the worst day. Jeremy said this to me, and it just made me feel like or whatever. Is because I like just the small things. I don't really care for being like the mega 50K followers streamer or whatever.
Hashtag Amaranth.
Yeah, exactly. For me, it's more so like I get DMs from my viewers like, "Hi, thank you so much for your stream today. It really helped me like get in a better mood." Or, "Hi, where's your stream? I need my daily dose of like laughter and happiness. Why aren't you streaming today, Layla? Get on stream." And I enjoy that. I enjoy like knowing that I make people laugh and smile. That's always what I've been about in the gaming community. I know there's not a lot of positivity in it. There's not the most happiest faces you see in it as well. So I like being the picture of you can be bad in a game, have fun, and still have people laugh and be happy with you. You don't have to be tens to enjoy Valorant. You don't have to be I forgot all the other people, but Overwatch, whatever, blah, blah, blah. You don't have to be the best at a game to enjoy a game, because I
Mm.
feel like recently that has become what it is now. Like, because of all the comps, the ranks, the everything, everyone feels like the only way to enjoy a game is if you're all the way up in the rank. And it's kind of lost its meaning, which is people started gaming to have fun with their friends. They started gaming to have good times, good memories, but that's kind of like getting lost in translation, and like all these other non-important things are taking over. So my part in all of this is just reminding people, have fun, come hang out, be yourself. Just don't really care about anything other than the moments you're having with the people you're having them with. So that's my goal in streaming. That's the only thing. That's why I will sit there just chatting for 2 hours without a game on, because I just want people to realize that you don't have to be the best at something to be happy or have friends or whatever, because I feel like it's just really like so many people come into my stream like, "Can I play with you?" I'm not the best. I'm this is my rank and I'm not really good at this game, and I'm like, dude, you don't have to tell me all of that. You want to hop in the game, hop in the game.
You come jam,
Like
like,
that's yeah, that's what I want to be the beacon of, I guess, like just a place where people don't feel like they have to be the best to be appreciated.
that's awesome. That's really,
Yeah.
really. They're gonna make me choke up if I said I wasn't gonna cry. um,
Yeah.
and then the last sort of question
Yeah.
is, what would you like to see specifically growth wise within the South African scene, like whether it be esports competitions or fellow streamers on the going up, whatever.
Yeah.
What would you what would, in I suppose, in a way, inspire you to contribute towards like a common goal, whatever that common goal was,
Yeah.
what would that be?
I want to see a lot more activities in the sense of events. I actually wanted to join an organization. There's been a few organizations that have approached me like, "Do you want to join?" And I'm like, "I'll only join if I can handle events, if I can be part of events and stuff like that." Because I want a lot more of that kind of stuff. When I first started, I did a lot of like horror game events. Whatever game I was playing events, like whatever game I was into, I would make an event for, just so that, and it wasn't like an event where you have to be the top to win and then you get a prize. No, it was more so, hey, all coming. It's basically a whole LAN group. I mean, a LAN cable event, but you guys can watch too.
Mm.
But that I feel like the community is missing the closeness it had when gaming first started. I feel like we've all been kind of detached, doing our own thing behind our screens, not interacting with each other as much. I feel like gaming has lost that closeness that used to be there because of all these tiny little events that we used to do. And um, I don't know, in South Africa, there's not a lot of events happening. I think at most maybe ACGL.
Yes.
ACGL is the one pulling up doing like all these events. And then there's like the small little events. I mean, Slayer's trying its best to also start like sponsor events that are already happening as well. They tried to sponsor my one for Rivals as well. And they try their best to like sponsor those kinds of events. But I feel like there's not enough people in the community who are like pushing for these events for these companies or wherever to be like, "Hey, we're cool. Come here. We can support that."
Mm.
So I feel like we need a lot more people being like, "Hey, if you really," because I hear a lot of people being like, "I want a Valor event." And I'm like, cool. You want a Valo event? Either talk to someone who can help you with that Valo event or make one. Because if you don't, all we're going to hear, so many people who say all the time, I want this kind of event, I want that kind of event. And you're like, there's 60 of you who want it. I'm pretty sure one of you can like do something, even if it's just like a event with 20 people, as in 19 of them are viewers and you're the I don't get, but I feel like there's like a need to bring back that closeness we once had. Like you said, you guys used to game, like mix up the skills. Everyone plays. It's all leveled up. You go enjoy. You have fun with your friends in the LAN cable. But I feel like that's gone now. I feel like it's really, really gone.
For
And I
sure.
feel like we should bring it back.
I couldn't agree with you more on that. And I think it's something that Snare said to me actually in 2019. We've been friends for a very long time now, probably
Yeah.
since 2013, 2014.
Yeah.
And he made this point that just really, I think, strikes that on the head, though, is that a lot of people want to sit in the shade, but nobody wants to go and grow the trees.
Yeah.
You know,
Pretty much.
I
Yeah.
think that echoes his sentiments. So I'll
Mm.
probably have him on here at some point when he's done being
Yeah.
a famous Dota caster. Sorry, like some of us are flipping made it, you know, and we got over to
Yeah.
Europe and earned euros for talking. Sorry, bro. But when he's
Yeah.
done being all fancy with me, probably it'll be nice to have him on.
That would
But
be a nice
this is
talk.
this has been such a treat. I've really enjoyed this. It's given me
Yeah.
a lot more insight into you, so now I can make short jokes on your stream because I've got a
Okay.
ton. I've got a catalog. My poor mother. My poor mother. I'll leave you with one, and then we'll let you do some shameless plugging and stuff. And you must give me all your links so I can put that down below in the description
Okay.
of the video and stuff. So if you guys want to check out Layla Nells, you'll be able to do that. But one of the I would say peak jokes that was a little bit nasty was, so my mom's really short. I'm 183 centimeters, so I'm like
Yeah.
Carlo's about that height as well, right? He's also like, I
Oh
saw him next
God.
to
Yeah.
Nico. He's also pretty tall.
Yeah.
And we got into an elevator, and she reached for the buttons, and I said, "Mom, it's okay. Don't jump. I'll push it for you." And there was like 8 other people in this massive elevator. You know those big ones at Eastgate? Those are the ones we were climbing into. And I was so just prepare yourself as a forewarning.
Oh
Okay.
no.
You're gonna hear about the Shire maybe once or 7 times. But I'll tell you something else. If
Yeah.
homies want to come into your chat and talk smack, I've noticed that they only do it when I'm not there because they're obviously scared. Because they know I don't have to have the best reflexes anymore. This mouth still talks. So, hashtag just
Yeah.
saying. Layla, any place that they can follow you on, shameless plug, the floor is yours.
My Instagram is the most active one. It's music_TKO. I know it's completely different to Layla Nells, but it is what it is. But there is a Layla Nells Twitter, and there is a Layla Nells TikTok. But that's the places you can follow me, guys. You're just gonna see some random clips sometimes. If you're on my Instagram, though, you're gonna see very I'm done.
You very what?
That was just not English. Cringe videos of me singing along to songs you probably don't want to hear anymore.
Okay, I actually got to go check that
Yeah.
out. If you won't, just obviously I'll get your social medias. We will link
Yeah.
those in the description down below. That is going to be us for this episode. We do hope you now understand who is Layla Nells.